Iowa City. The 18th-ranked Iowa Hawkeyes play host to the Michigan State Spartans. With Mac McCausland, this is Larry Morgan, set to describe the action across the state of Iowa tonight. Well, we start the third week in February, and at this time of the year, everybody talks about making the tournament, about tournament seeding. Mac, that makes this game pretty significant.
Well, it really does. When you start looking at the Iowa Hawkeyes, won 3 in a row, and they've got the ability, and right now the team chemistry, maybe to even look and run the table. In other words, they could win them all. But you also look at the schedule, hey, maybe they could only win 2, lose 4, but Iowa's starting to play with a lot of team pride. They want a high seed. Michigan State, on the other hand, needs to win maybe 1 on the road to get in the tournament, and they're looking at Iowa to be that one game. We'll see.
Iowa and Michigan State, 2 of the finer rebounding teams in the Big Ten Conference. How important is rebounding tonight?
You look at Iowa, they've out-rebounded their opponent 15 the last 3 games. It's been a huge difference. Look for a physical game tonight. Michigan State, an outstanding rebounding team with wide bodies.
Covering tonight's game across the state of Michigan, Tom Hamilton and Greg Kelser. Gentlemen, let's talk about some of the individuals you expect to play significant roles tonight.
All righty, Larry, thank you very much. And Greg, one of those people is Michigan State's Quentin Brooks. He is certainly a candidate for Big Ten Player of the Year.
He has been very steady. The one player on Michigan State's team that has been able to avoid any prolonged offensive shooting slumps. Now tonight he must expect double teaming inside because there's not one player that can guard him alone. The important thing for Quentin Brooks to do is to make good decisions when he finds himself in traffic.
Iowa has a number of stars, but in particular, point guard Andre Woolridge. He has really taken his game to another level.
Well, you know, every coach hopes that when you reach the stretch run, one player or two will pick their game up and really up their level of play. And for Iowa, I don't think there's any question that he's been the guy to do that. And you look at his numbers over the last 6 or 7 games, he's had around 18 points a game. He's getting 6 assists a game, making his teammates better. And how about 4 assists from a little guy, 6 feet 1 inches tall?
Well, we expect another buzzer beater. What else when these two clubs meet? Now let's back to Larry Morgan.
All right, Tom, thanks. Tonight marks the return of Chris Kingsbury. He's been suspended the last 3 games. He returns tonight. Tom Davis plans to bring him along slowly. Lineups next. Hawkeye Arena, where the Hawkeyes are 11-1 on the home court. The starting lineup, first of all, for Tom Izzo's team. A couple of freshmen get the starting call, but it's Jamie Fike and Quentin Brooks who provide the real punch for Michigan State. As far as the Iowa Hawkeyes, Tom Davis has gone with this lineup for 3 games, and the Hawkeyes are 3-0 with this particular starting unit. So it's Iowa and Michigan State, a big game, and this is the start of the third week of February. The tip-off next. If the Hawkeyes win tonight, they climb over Michigan State and into a tie with Indiana for 3rd in the Big Ten Conference. The officials are Tom Rucker, Sam Licklider, and Jerry Petro. And this important ball game set to begin. And Fike out-jumped Millard, but the Hawkeyes control the opening tap. Back, both teams used zone the last time they met at East Lansing. Do you look for that tonight?
Well, they start out in zone. Quentin Brooks at 6'6" or 6'7", goes to the top of the key. The father shooters spread the long arms, make it difficult for a high post penetration or pass.
And the Hawkeyes in this initial possession have wound the shot clock down to 10. Woolridge playing excellent basketball with it. Trying to move inside over the freshman Klein and nails the J.
What confidence by Andre Woolridge. He has literally put this team on his shoulders and carried it. Not with scoring always, but he's done it with the passing and just team leadership, ball handling ability. Andre Woolridge certainly looking to be all Big Ten first team.
Averaging 18 points over the last 6 ball games. Ray Weathers, normally an off guard, but really forced to play the point for Tom Izzo. They didn't want to play him there. They've done it by necessity. Here's Klein for 3. Off the front of the iron, the rebound to Monteer Glasper.
Klein didn't take that shot in good rhythm, kind of just stretched it out flat.
Settles for 3. 5-0 Iowa.
And you notice Iowa does not come with a full court pressure or hard pressure. They're looking to trap and let the guards handle the ball. Michigan State, not known as a great ball handling team, make them bring the ball up off the dribble. Don't let them pass over you.
There's Klein, the freshman from Grosse Isle, Michigan. Weathers will signal the play from the point. Inside, Quentin Brooks, the guy to keep an eye on. He's averaging 16.9. Instead, they go to Fike, who scored just 1 point up at Michigan State when the Spartans won by 2, but he already doubles that with his first shot tonight.
You can expect a physical game with these two teams. They have wide bodies, and they do get their hands up with each other in rebounding position. You get some bumping and some elbows.
Weathers hits the jump shot. It's a 5-4 Iowa lead. Hawks scored the first 5. Spartans have answered with the next 4. January 20th on the tip-in by Brooks. Michigan State beat Iowa 62-60. Third consecutive game of the series decided at the buzzer. Spinning against the double team is Settles, and the rebound into the hands of Jamie Fike, who leads the conference in rebounding.
And he leads it because he is a good rebounder, but he does it by position. You look at Settles and Fike, both of them will play below the rim. But they have the wide bodies and good aggressiveness to get the ball.
Spartans try to take their first lead. Mac, this is a good road ball club. They have already won 3 conference road games and played very well at both Purdue and Penn State in losing. Good look, but the block by Settles. Big defensive effort by Jess Settles. Now Smith backs in. Antonio Smith travels. The freshman out of Flint Northern High School. Smith called on the walk. What a great effort on the defense by Jess Settles, coming up with a huge block early in the ball game.
And many of those come blocks away from your man. In other words, Jess Settles this time doubled down and did get the opportunity to get that block shot.
Alvin Robinson, the freshman from Chicago's Carver-High School, makes an early entrance into the ball game. Russ Millard will exit for Iowa. A 5-4 Iowa lead at 17:06 in the first.
And I've really liked where Kenyon Murray and Ryan Bowen have split the time at the 3 position. They've kept each other fresh and challenged the other team's best offensive player by staying fresh and really created problems for Gino Carlisle and Brian Evans.
Hawks have 10 seconds to shoot. And Woolridge shoots a pass looking for Kenyon Murray. Coming up with a loose basketball is Antonio Smith. For Glasper and Murray, their last regular season chance against a team from their home state. And they've always enjoyed this rivalry over their 4 years at Iowa, playing teams from Michigan. Fike in deep, foul called instead on Settles.
Iowa fans thought he was stationary. Of course, Settles has had some foul problems this year and did foul out against Michigan State at Michigan State.
Beck had his worst game of the year at Michigan State. 2 points, 2 rebounds, 5 fouls, 5 turnovers. You know, in his mind, he feels he's got something to prove tonight.
Michigan State likes to try and score on their inbounds plays. Have a quick hitter. Iowa did a good job with the scouting report. Sat with the shoot around, able to stop this attempt.
Off the baseline, the shot drops home by Antonio Smith, averaging almost 5 points a ball game, and it gives the Spartans their first lead at 6-5. So far, not a touch for Quentin Brooks, the leading scorer for the Spartans. Michigan State under the direction of first-year head coach Tom Izzo, replacing the 19-year veteran Judd Heathcote. And his team, as we mentioned, solid road wins at Illinois, at Minnesota, and Northwestern. A 4-point loss at Penn State, and a 5-point loss at Purdue. So they've been a very good road team. With 5 seconds to shoot, Woolridge, and Fike for the rebound.
A little off balance on the shot by Woolridge. And now Michigan State moving the ball on the perimeter, trying to find that open outside shot. Neither of these teams, as there's a hack foul by Quentin Brooks on Jess Settles.
Probably a hand that Brooks wishes he had back. Not a wise foul as Settles was trying to drive past him. An early timeout with Michigan State in the lead at 6-5, and we'll be right back. 5-0 lead. The Spartans have run off 6 unanswered points. Mac mentioned Jess Settles struggled at Michigan State. Looks like he's more than making up for it tonight.
The zone not able to compensate for the wide spacing by Iowa. Gives Settles a nice trailing 3. And Jess has played hard at both ends as the dump down pass. Quentin Brooks gets 1 touch in this game. He doesn't get it for long as it gets swatted away to the outside where Michigan State recovered.
Spartans will make a change. Thomas Kelly comes in at the guard spot as Jess Settles will take a seat on the Iowa bench. Kelly, a sophomore from Grand Rapids, averaging 5.3 coming off the bench. Tom Izzo, a lot of experimentation on his ball club. He's tried 10 different starting lineups this year.
Well, he kind of told us candidly, he says, I don't have shooters, I don't have ball handlers. I just keep trying to find guys that are going to have good nights. And they've gotten the job done with defense.
The lob intended to J.R. Koch from Glasper. And in the way is Quentin Brooks. But then he runs out of room, and the Hawkeyes will get the basketball. Mac McCausland comes in for Iowa. Played very steady basketball over the last 3 games with the suspension of Chris Kingsbury. comes in averaging 2.5 per game.
And the rotation is the same as it has been for those last 3 games, using 9 players in that rotation.
Koch, McCausland, Murray, Millard, and Woolridge on the floor for Iowa.
Thomas Kelly shading Andre Woolridge a little bit as the zone bottled up the other 4 players.
Kelly races out of the backcourt for the Spartans, who have won 14 and lost 11 overall, 8-5 in the league. Cervalia and Bethea, 2 of the veterans on the Spartan ball club, check to the scorer's table. They're about to come in.
You see Iowa's zone, they will guard the ball, but other than that, they're really trying to clog up the middle, forcing Michigan State to becoming a shooting team.
Weathers throws it away. The Hawkeyes come up with the steal. Iowa scored the first 5, and since then, the scoring has been silent. They have not scored now in a 4-minute, 25-second stretch. They last scored at 18:52. We're now at 14:09.
Michigan State still staying in that zone. They give you a little bit of a man look.
Millard on the turnaround, and the rebound taken down by Fike. Fike leads the conference, averaging over 9 rebounds a game. Again, a Michigan State turnover. Woolridge on the breakaway. Second bucket for Woolridge, and the Hawks end a 5-minute scoring drought.
And the Hawkeyes go to full court pressure. First time they've really used it, coming hard now. And Michigan State not prepared for it. Able to get the turnover.
McCausland with the effort, but can't save it. Michigan State's got it.
And now the loose ball and the ball going the other direction. Now watch the trap. Michigan State not prepared for this. They get the double team and just a thrown away ball. Iowa player almost the opportunity to get the turnover.
Anthony Mull, number 10, in for Michigan State. Now Izzo goes to his bench very early and very often.
And that's the Anthony Mull that people in Ames would recognize the name. He was intending to go to Iowa State, asked for release, and went up to Michigan State.
And then went to, of course, came out of Indian Hills Junior College in Iowa, where he was an outstanding player for Terry Carroll. Weathers misses to the right. Rebound taken down by Millard, his first rebound of the game. Hawks with a 1-point lead. McCausland for 3, right there.
Well, McCausland and Glasper Kingsbury battling for playing time at that off-guard position.
And McCausland is 8th tray of the season. Now settles for 3, right there again.
And the run is on, and Izzo wants his team to settle down. Make sure you control the ball. Does not want to take the timeout. Wants to see if his veteran club can handle the pressure. As Settles almost gets it.
The Hawks have scored 8 unanswered points. 2 of them bombs from McCausland and Settles. A veteran team on the floor right now for Michigan State.
Gariballa, not a confident shooter, not even looking at the basket.
And the rebound taken down momentarily by Settles, off the hands of Bethea. Iowa basketball. 12:07 left in the first half. Iowa has run 8 points. Tom Izzo in his first year replacing Judd Heathcote. Been on the Michigan State staff since 1983 after 4 years as assistant coach at Hill's alma mater, Northern Michigan.
And Tom Izzo was one of the good young coaches in the country. Fun to be around. Had a chance to visit with him today. A lot of self-confidence for a first-year coach. He says the things he doesn't like, though, are all the outside distractions, like putting up with people like us.
But he said it with a smile on his face. He's a really good guy. Behind the Settles pick, Woolridge. Woolridge from the perimeter. And the Hawkeyes have hit 3 straight from 3-point range.
The threes are raining in now for the Hawkeyes. The confidence of the 3-game winning streak builds your shooting confidence. You just feel good about the game. Feel good when the ball gets in your hands.
Despite winning 3 in a row, Iowa hit only 6 threes out of 40 tries in the 3-game winning streak. Right now, they've hit 3 threes in a row. Bethea tries to answer with 1 for the Spartans, and Settles has his 3rd rebound. Glasper.
Another one.
Oh my, do you believe this?
Another one. And right now, somebody says take a timeout. The Spartans.
4 in a row from 3-point range.
And 4 different players being able to put it down.
4 in a row.
As you come in, you see the drive to the middle, wide open, as Michigan State, concerned about the inside game, has left the perimeter open. And it's been Woolridge, Settles, Mac McCausland, and now Glasper with the threes, where the Hawkeyes, when they didn't have Chris Kingsbury, only 6 of 40 in the 3 games.
And it is now a 14-0 Iowa run.
And you see the Northwest quick stat, as Michigan State has now found the net from 3, while Iowa has blown it through the bottom of the net 5 of 6 times.
And Ray Weathers is saying, Coach, we've been on them. We just can't stop them. Hawkeyes apply full court pressure as Thomas Kelly tries to bring it ahead against Kenyon Murray.
And again, the pressure showing Michigan State a weakness that Coach Izzo was concerned about. He said he may try 3 guards.
Trap almost creating the turnover. A timeout. Iowa on a 14-0 run, leads 19-6. Of trays led by Mac McCausland. He started the string.
Woolridge being able to bounce that. Mac McCausland did a little fade to the corner, stretching defenses, having the opportunity to get the wide open 3 down there. You see pro teams do that a lot. Don't run them to the spot on the wing. Put them down in the corner and hide them.
Tom Izzo's plan tonight: force the Hawkeyes to shoot from the outside. So far, Mac not working. Here's Brooks scoring for the first time for Michigan State, ending a 14-0 Iowa run.
And a breakdown on the Iowa defense right at midcourt. Wide open opportunity. And Coach Izzo, like Tom Davis, they'll use any set position to try and score from. In other words, the sidelines out of bounds plays, not just get the ball in. Let's try and get a quick score. Iowa fell asleep. Spartans get 2.
Greg Helmer's on for the Hawkeyes.
Michigan State says enough of that zone. We've seen enough threes tonight. We're going to have to go man-to-man.
But again, Tom Izzo telling us today he thought that he could stop Iowa by forcing them to shoot from the outside. And the tapes of recent games would have told him maybe that was the case, but that has not been the case. Thomas Kelly comes up with a loose basketball. Ball can't hang on, and another turnover gives Iowa the basketball. Midway through the first half, Iowa leads it 19-8.
Michigan State will come out on the shooters now, giving the opportunity for an inside game for Iowa. That is short. But Glasper, who's done nothing but rebound and hustle for the last 2 weeks, gets another one. In the vernacular of the player, that's a garbage basket, but it's a great hustle play.
Glasper has 5. The Hawkeyes open a 21-8 lead.
Iowa still says they're going to stay in the zone until the Spartans show they can hit the outside shot. They've done a good job of mixing their defenses in their 3 wins. They have played straight zone, a boxing one, and man-to-man.
Kelly moves it quickly to the baseline for Mull. Shot clock is at 10.
Now you got to be aware of your shooters and creators, and Brooks is their main man.
Here's Kelly for 3. The rebound by Garvalia, taken away by Glasper. McCausland open instead, feeds inside, and it will be Iowa basketball. Montere Glasper, you mentioned it. His game is hustle. His game is experience, and he shows some great hustle here.
Goes in, follows the basketball as Settles is going to miss. Normally the point guard will stay back for defense. That might be a little habit because he played so much off guard, having to go to the boards.
With the rebound, Quentin Brooks. Roy Weathers averaging 9.9 on the dribble for Michigan State. He's their number 3 scorer behind Fike and Brooks.
See there, Iowa had 3 people going out trapping, and still Michigan State did not take advantage of that once they got the ball over the initial defense. So this team really hustles, looking for the double team, just wreaking havoc with the other team in their offensive set.
During this 3-game winning streak, Hawkeyes playing some outstanding defense. In the first 9 games of the conference season, opponents averaged 73 points against them. Here in the second half, first 3 games, Hawkeyes have won them all, allowing 60.6 points per game.
And out of that, the margin of victory has been 15 points.
Bowen in the crowd draws a foul.
Coach Davis has done a nice job of adjusting this team to a new personality of defense and using trap pressure. And his bench is much deeper as he's using 9 players.
First foul on Mull, second foul on the Spartans, and the first free throws in the game about to be shot. Kachin settles out, gets a big round of applause. You see Tom Izzo with the bandage on his left hand. He suffered a torn tendon, and he got hit by a basketball in practice. It has been a tough year, and he's got to wear that splint another 8 weeks.
He's never really told us exactly how it was, if he slapped the ball or he didn't catch it. He wasn't going to let us know how his hand-eye coordination was.
Jason Klein into the lineup for Michigan State as Ryan Bowen will shoot the game's first free throws. One of the problems Iowa had at East Lansing when they lost by 2 was only 15 free throw attempts and only 7 makes.
And the real bad part about that was down the stretch. The last 10 minutes, 1 of 9. The last 3.5 minutes, 1 of 6.
Bowen hits nothing but net on his 2 free throw tries to open a 23-8 Iowa lead, and Kenyon Murray comes on. Bike against pressure.
And Iowa is stuck now with a full court pressure, forcing Michigan State to take one of the timeouts because Michigan State has not beaten the pressure yet. They've not shown they have the ability to score over Iowa's pressure.
Withers misses the 3. Murray has the rebound taken away from him by Smith. Antonio Smith with his second basket.
Quite frankly, we've seen some real clunk shots put up by Michigan State. It's been the second shots or just a baseline jumper where they've been able to score.
They're only a 43% shooting team. When they win it at the defensive end of the floor. There is Murray.
That's long. And once again, Glasper on the board. Good position at the off-guard position.
Glasper slashes in and scores.
He brings a nice combination of skills. While this time Quentin Brooks does score. People said maybe travel, but Brooks just sprinted the court. Iowa fans have seen Kenyon Murray do that. But as long as you don't have control of the ball, it's a true bobble. You're able to go ahead and do that.
Murray on the foul, trying to knock the rebound away from Jason Klein. Only the second foul called against the Hawkeyes. Well, Michigan State not had many easy baskets, but they got one a moment ago on a fast break opportunity, and that allowed them to cut the Iowa lead to 13. 25-12, Iowa leads it. And it's Michigan State with the basketball, 7:35 left in the first, and Iowa leads it 25-12.
And you talk rebounding. Who's the leading rebounder in the game? It's Montier Glasper for both teams. The shortest guy on the court.
As he was for the Hawkeyes in their loss in Michigan State when Iowa got out-rebounded by a dozen. Woolridge commits the foul.
Glasper's got 4 rebounds already. 2 of them offensive, 2 of them defensive.
Boy, Tom Izzo, rough baptism to fire. Look at some of the guys on the opposite bench in his first year.
His first year, he's played North Carolina, Louisville, Arkansas, Oklahoma State, and then obviously Big Ten coaches as settles. Fans on the sideline thought he may have saved that. The ball didn't go out of bounds, but he laid on the out-of-bounds line as he was diving for that ball. And again, the Settles hustle.
Now we go back to live action with Michigan State trying to cut a 13-point Hawkeye lead.
That's really quite a schedule that somebody set up, and we kidded Tom Izzo about it, and he says it was Judd. He knew he was going to retire.
Well, you look at that December schedule, Mac. They played 3 of the Final 4 teams of a year ago. They only did not play the champion, UCLA.
That's right. And they had a chance to play them as they were in the same Maui tournament. They just didn't get paired up in the win-loss situation.
You know, you look at the way the Hawkeye offense has performed thus far. Really significant considering Michigan State is the best defensive team in the league.
Points are still low, and Michigan State now has gone back to the zone. Great screen underneath by Kenyon Murray, and a basket.
It's the first basket for Millard, and the Hawkeyes open a 15-point lead. Maybe more. Beautiful bounce pass to Settles.
Great steal, anticipation, double team. The front line of the defensive effort by the Hawkeyes able to get that basket. And again, Michigan State doesn't take advantage of 2-on-1. And the reason they can't take advantage is big people have to handle the ball, and they're not good dribblers. And Garawala not shooting well.
White with an offensive rebound, and McCausland pulls it down for Iowa. The Hawkeyes on another run. Scored back-to-back buckets. Earlier, they had a 14-point run. Millard.
Hooker.
A nice sky hook by Millard.
He saw Magic come back, and it's a timeout by the Spartans.
They're on their feet at Carver-Hawkeye Arena as Iowa has opened a 19-point lead. Russ Millard with the last 2 buckets. This time, big move into the lane by Iowa's senior, and Iowa leads at 31-12. 3% against the team that its last 21 opponents have not shot 50%. Points in the paint. Hawkeyes have been able to get that inside-outside game going.
And Michigan State has not figured out the press, and they've got troubles.
Yes, they do. Weathers against the trap, turns it over, and the Hawkeyes get the ball back. And Tom Izzo continues looking for a combination that can handle that press.
The only thing Iz has right now is frustration. And he's tried to bring in all kinds of help behind the bench. He's got Jim Harbaugh, and he wishes maybe he could throw him in and say, hey, throw that pass long.
Take a look at some other scores from our Creative Sports Update. On the baseline, Millard has hit 3 in a row. Took Russ Millard a while to get involved in the scoring column, but he is involved big time now.
Jamie Fike, just a handoff.
Here's Settles shooting a pass, looking for Millard, and it is last touched by Michigan State. And Tom Izzo's team not doing anything right now.
Yep. They really are looking out there like they are lacking a leader, somebody that can take control both at the offensive end and the defensive end, but they're really lacking somebody to say how to break this press while on the court. You can draw it up X's and O's, but you got to execute and be patient against it.
Different story last year when they had Sean Respert and Eric Snow in their backcourt. They're both in the NBA now, and Michigan State lacking in the guard court. Glasper, open, fires, bullseye! Montere Glasper having an outstanding ball game, 10 first-half points.
Again, Bethea getting the ball, no guards, being able to bring the ball up. You can remember Eric Snow busting through Iowa's press other years and just sprinting, getting Respert open. Not going to happen with this squad.
It's a 24-point Iowa lead. Carvalho, Brooks. Brooks against the double team. Iowa's defense has been everywhere tonight, Mac. Foul that time on Andre Woolridge. It'll be his second.
That's going to be a little trouble. Woolridge with 2 fouls. They have to go to the bench. You see Woolridge drive, penetrate. A wide open Glasper decides to play catch with the net. An easy game of horse when it's that way.
Chris Kingsbury regaining his eligibility tonight following a 3-game suspension. Tom Davis said he'd bring him along slow. Kingsbury not yet in the ball game.
Well, the other people responded well. We're looking at a 24-point lead. And that word chemistry for this team continues.
Bethea, the left-handed jump shot from the right side of the floor for his first 2.
And Michigan State 0 for 6 from the arc, while Iowa 6 for 11. And now Glasper is going to have to play the point, maybe the rest of the half, with Woolridge out with the 2 fouls.
Bethea almost with a steal. McCausland gets it back. Settles fires at home. Settles has got 10. Glasper's got 10. Iowa leads at 38-14.
Hawkeye's going to have to hurry back. And Millard with a little foul. Hard to get back and getting good set position. The guard did a good job of turning the body. Watch and see the guard when he gets the ball. And now Kelly brings up and makes Millard turn positions. Changing, pivoting, and Kelly still under control. A good job by Thomas Kelly.
Team fouls now, 5 against Iowa, 2 against Michigan State. Woolridge with 2 fouls will come back in. Montere Glasper will lead.
You can be sure Woolridge is well aware of the 2 fouls. I don't think you'll see him leave his feet driving at the offensive end of the court.
Antonio Smith, number 13 in. Number 30, Jamie Fike goes out. Hawkeyes just been explosive at the offensive end and covered very well at the defensive end and forged a huge lead.
And a touch by Settles and the steal.
Hawkeyes just getting every loose basketball, Mac.
And a break of 3-on-1. And it was started by Settles' pressure. And Michigan State just having trouble getting the ball in bounds.
Iowa with their biggest lead. In the middle, it's Brooks. Quentin Brooks has scored his third goal. He averages 16.9.
I like Quentin Brooks. I like his game. He's very solid and playing under control.
Settles leaves it short. The rebound taken down by Weathers. Up front, it's Mull.
And there's nothing Andre Woolridge could do. In fact, Coach Davis kind of went, stay away from him. Because that is Andre Woolridge's responsibility. But with 2 fouls, he let him go. That's a smart choice.
Back-to-back buckets by the Spartans to cut the Iowa lead to 22. 2:40 before halftime. Helmers, McCausland, Woolridge, Settles, and Murray on the floor for the Hawkeyes.
Pick and roll, and Settles will go up strong.
Yes, he will. He's got 12 to lead the Hawks.
I don't know what you can look at now for the Iowa team and say that's not been good the first half. Every phase has been excellent.
During this streak, which is now 3 games and an outstanding half, the Hawkeyes have played superb defense, and they've really played cohesive basketball.
And people, right now, you look at that score, people have to shake their head a little bit.
Bethea knocks it home.
I don't anticipate Michigan State playing a second half like this half.
Off the baseline, it's Murray.
And the magic continues.
Again, this is a Michigan State team. Their last 21 opponents have not shot 50% against them. The Hawkeyes are blistering the nets tonight. The rebound taken down by Settles, his 5th.
And a 20 by Coach Davis. Good
1:18
choice.
left in the half.
Got the ball, have an opportunity to make you think in terms of 2 for 1.
Tonight's Big Ten Conference game, a copyrighted telecast of Creative Sports Incorporated. And the use, rebroadcast, or other transmission of any or all of this game without the express prior written consent of Creative Sports is prohibited. The Hawkeyes jumped to a 5-0 lead. Michigan took the lead back at 6-5. Since then, it has been all Hawkeyes.
And Iowa, 5 of their last 6 field goals. As you see, Coach Izzo. And the percentage, Michigan State, that's a strong 48 for them. They've only been shooting about 42 in the Big Ten. But Iowa, 67%.
And again, this is the Michigan State team, best defense in the league statistically.
And they are one of the better defensive teams. But that is not a fictitious percentage figure. They make you shoot the outside shot under pressure. Jeff Heathcote believes that. Tom Izzo believes it. It's hard to get to the basket on Michigan State, and Iowa has done that.
Into the final minute of the first half, Millard hits the turnaround.
Anything else left in the bag of tricks?
I believe Millard has hit 4 in a row. Russ Millard on fire. The Hawkeyes are on fire. Antonio Smith with his first foul.
And the inside strength, and what a game he had against Michigan. And it continues, as that is his 4th in a row from the field, and 4 of 5 in the game. But that Michigan game, what a strong game that was.
So Millard tonight missed his first. Since then, he has not missed. He now has 9 points. Great balance in Iowa scoring. Chris Kingsbury makes his first appearance. Listen to the round of applause for Kingsbury. Against full court pressure, Michigan State tries to bring it up.
And a flick, I think it was by J.R. Koch trying to reach for the ball, got into the eye or face.
Looked like maybe
Weathers.
the eye of Ray Weathers. J.R. Koch flipping a hand that direction. Let's see if we get another look at it.
See if J.R. comes back and he reaches in for the ball, and Weathers kind of turns into him and catches a finger in the eye.
Mac, you and I had the opportunity to spend some time with Chris Kingsbury this afternoon as Weathers is attended to. I know that loud ovation when he returned did not surprise him. He expected that from the Iowa fans, didn't he?
Well, he said he'd really gotten a lot of supportive letters, and he felt a heartfelt thanks to those fans that have supported him. and he knew his minutes would be very limited. He told us, he said, hey, if Montier and Kent come out and play well, their chemistry, what they've done in those other 3 games has been very good for this team. Other people have gotten good minutes. I know I'll be limited. If they don't play well, I'm going to get more minutes early.
He also said when he came back, his emphasis would be on rebounding and defense.
He said, I am a smart basketball player. He says, I watch. He said, the way this team is playing now, it's defense and rebounding. I don't want to be a part of that.
Glasper with a steal. The Hawkeyes have many, many steals in this ball game. Michigan State really plagued by the turnover. Here's Millard. He's still hot. 5 in a row by Millard.
And Chris Kingsbury had an opportunity 4-3, had 2 more passes, and an easy opportunity by Millard, continuing the hot streak, as you indicated, that he's got in that touch. You don't want to shake his hand right now. You burn.
A 29-point lead for the Hawkeyes, their biggest of the first half.
And the Hawkeyes, 20 of 29 from the field. You know Coach Izzo is going to tell his team, they can't play that good, and we can't play that bad the second half. Keep your composure, and you'll be okay.
Oh, yeah, don't go away yet. This could still be a battle. Mull nails it out of the corner. A foul spotted on the other side of the floor. Mull gets credit for the 3.
I think Fike ended up pushing J.R. Koch. And there just haven't been many fouls in this game. Iowa with just 5, Michigan State with just 4. Now watch, Fike grabbing and then tripping J.R. Koch.
So the bucket counts.
And the thin man goes down.
And that's only the 4th foul against Michigan State. So no free throws. And with 3.6 seconds left in the half, the Hawkeyes have the ball.
And Michigan State putting everybody back. They have scouted to see that Iowa does have a set play. And this is Kingsbury's range.
He's open, he fires, he misses. And the Hawkeyes play a brilliant first half, scorching the nets against the best defensive team in the Big Ten Conference. And at the half, the Hawkeyes will lead by 26. Halftime score, Iowa 49, Michigan State 23. Iowa led by as many as 29 in the first half. Their current lead is 26. Lots of first half highlights, Mac.
First half highlights, and first half, it is a hot Iowa team. Woolridge, McCausland around the horn, as they say, and settles, getting that open look and shot. And it has been that open passing, finding the open man that has helped Iowa. Now, at the other end, it's defense. It's trailer time. Glasper on the hustle position as Millard give a temporary stop. And again, reversing the ball and getting a gap. This time, Millard finishes finding the net. While Michigan State, they've had trouble scoring. Here's one of them on just a run out, going to the other end. Mull going up for the layup, and Woolridge says, I can't touch you. I got 2 fouls.
Hawks go back to their starters for the second half. Settles, Bowen, Millard, Woolridge, and Glasper. As far as Tom Izzo's team is concerned, Fike is out there. Also, it'll be Klein, who started but really played very little. Anthony Mull will start the second half. He did not start the ball game. Quentin Brooks will also be in the lineup to start the second half, as will Damon Bethea. So Tom Izzo, upset by his team's 26-point deficit, makes 2 changes.
I think he's got to find some people. They're not going to turn it over. Anthony Smith did have 4 turnovers. Weathers had a couple. In that first half, Thomas Kelly had 2 of them. So he's got to find some people that can take care of the basketball and realize you've got to pick away. And he's gone to a couple of veterans that they have mulled the junior college player.
Klein, the freshman, takes the first shot of the half, and inside there's contact on the push is spotted.
Not many fouls by Michigan State. They only had 2 in the entire first half. Ryan Bowen got sent down. It looks like maybe a little hip pointer re-injury on that, as Tom Izzo is trying to find some kind of a lineup. But Hawkeyes just settles 12 points. Woolridge 11, Glasper 10 in that first half.
Jamie Fike on the foul. It's his second foul. And the ball kicked out of bounds by Iowa, so it goes back to Michigan State here in the first half minute of the second half. Iowa bidding for their 4th win in a row, looking for their 19th win of the year, looking for their 8th win in the conference. With a win, Iowa can move into a tie for 3rd place with Idle, Indiana. Michigan State, as the game begins, tied for 3rd with Indiana. They can move into 3rd undisputed if they were to win.
Look at Ryan Bowen and Kenyon Murray in that first half, between them just 4 points. But defensively, and that's the type of tip that beat Iowa at Michigan State. Nobody got a body on the man.
Quentin Brooks with the tip in. First two of the second half belong to the Spartans. Just underway, second half of play.
Both teams a little sluggish as they come out. And Millard trying to warm things up. That's a long, strong shot. Only his second miss. 5 of 6 in the first half.
He hit 5 in a row after missing his first shot in that first half.
Iowa still showing what looks like a zone. Michigan State having trouble recognizing for sure if it's man-to-man or zone. And the Hawkeyes are man.
Spartans see the shot clock go inside 10. They trail by 24. In deep, it's Fike, and he's fouled by Millard. Second foul on Russ Millard. Jamie Fike, the senior out of Lexington, Ohio. Good inside move.
The rush just gets pinned. As you see, he tries to lean. All his weight is up on the top side. Jamie Fike just gets the ball, spins baseline, and the only reaction left is foul. Russ did not have a good base, spreading his legs and having his hand on the top side, trying to defend to deflect that ball.
Fike, third team all-conference. He's been through a very rough season because of the death of his fiance's father in an auto accident just before the start of practice. Take a look at some Big Ten scores. Northwestern surprising the Badgers.
And Ohio State, Minnesota, halftime. That's a tight one. Ohio State's played some good halves. They just had trouble with that freshman group of playing a good 40 minutes. And Millard tossed the ball in bounds. The Hawkeye fans a little restless. Greg Helmers, who played 6 minutes in that first half, back in. And again, Tom Davis trying to use Helmers, Koch, and Alvin Robinson, getting all of them some experience minutes. See which one's going to play better. Keep the competition in practice every day.
Spartans have the first 4 points of the second half. Iowa leads it though, 49-27.
And Michigan State said they've had enough of their zone. They go that man-to-man. And Glasper, as they said on the illegal pick. Now Monteer's not big enough to set an illegal pick.
You said that right. His first foul. The Hawkeyes now assessed with their second and a half. Michigan State called for 1 so far. 17:52 left. Iowa enjoying a 26-point halftime lead and a 22-point margin currently.
Ball handling.
Hawkeyes get it back.
You can see Tom Izzo was very honest in his assessment of his team when he told us, Larry, that he does not have a good ball handling team. It concerns him. As going down the court the whole way, it's saddle time.
Here's Settles paired off with Quentin Brooks. Brooks knocks it away from him. So the Hawkeyes will play with 20 seconds on the shot clock. See Tom Davis, a win tonight. He will tie Lute Olson with his 92nd Big Ten win. That would tie for the most Big Ten wins in Iowa history. Anthony Moll comes back in. Klein, who's really seen very limited playing time both starting, will take a seat on the Spartan bench. Woolridge looks inside. Helmer's covered up. Now Glasper is tripped as he tries to drive, and Moll picks up his second foul.
That's Respert that got the foul, I believe. And that's not Sean Respert. It's Michael.
And that is his first. Michigan State, as you mentioned, very few fouls. That is only their 6th in the ball game. Tom Izzo would probably say it's because we haven't played enough defense to commit any fouls.
Well, part of it's when you're in a zone. You're not as aggressive, and the other team doesn't drive into the zone, so it reduces the number of fouls. Man-to-man, you'll usually draw more fouls.
Bowen takes it strong to the hole, and Fike rips down the rebound.
Bowen, a good move that time. Quickness, he's unable to finish it.
The pull-up by Fike, and the rebound battled for it. And coming out with it is Monteer Glasper. He's gotten so many loose balls going. Here's Settles in deep. 14 for Settles.
Moll tried to draw an offensive foul, but he's underneath the net. You can't expect to get that call. You've got to give the man the ability to come down once he takes off.
Those are the first points for the Hawks in the second half. It took them 3.5 minutes in the second half to get on the board. In deep, it's Quentin Brooks. Bowen with the foul. Bowen with his first foul, and the Hawks with their third.
Glasper bringing it, making the decision right at the free throw line. Settle's able to get it. 2-foot jump stop. No dribbling necessary. A good power move under control by Settles.
Bowen out. Millard has come in. At the free throw line, Quentin Brooks. Last year, by the end of the year, he had weighed down to 205 pounds. Tom Izzo asked him to bulk up, and he added about 10 pounds this year. Seems to have really helped his game.
Coach Izzo said they try and spend 3 times a week doing moderate lifting during the season, and of course in the offseason, more than that.
You see a double-double against the Hawkeyes in East Lansing. Brooks with 9 points in this ball game. 51-28 Hawkeyes.
Looks like on the bench, Ray Weathers came out late with a big bandage over his eye, so he may have gotten cut with a fingernail, and it doesn't look like maybe he will be back because he's gone to the end of the bench. That would be a blow for the Spartans, a creating offensive player and among their best ball handlers when they need some.
Inside, Woolridge to Millard, off the glass too strong, and Brooks tries to run down the rebound. But he can't do it. It's Iowa basketball, but first we have a timeout. You look at Weathers with that bandage over the right eye. Timeout 15:52 left in regulation. It's Iowa 51, Michigan State 28. We'll be right back at Carver-Hawkeye Arena. It's Iowa 51, Michigan State 28. We go back to the last shot prior just before the timeout. Did this shot hit the rim is the question.
It definitely hit the rim. I don't know if there'd be any question about that.
Well, they have reset the shot clock to 35, so apparently if they had a question, they have cleared it up. Let's take a look at our Northwest quick stat. The Hawkeyes have been red hot shooting for the ball game, and they continue so.
That's at 62%, but that's down. As you know, it's 67 in that first half. And that's why if you're Tom Izzo, you can talk to your players and tell them to be patient. That will be a very good situation because you know you're not going to shoot in the low 40s. You know Iowa isn't going to shoot near 70. The game has a chance to get back.
Just to put that in perspective, Michigan State, as a team this year against the Big Ten, opponents are shooting only 40% against them, and yet tonight the Hawkeyes are 22% better than that at 62%. Just under 16 to go, and Iowa leads it 51-28.
Now Michigan State changes. They go to zone. But that, in a way, will help Iowa because it will shorten the game. Iowa will take more time off the clock against the zone than they generally do man-to-man.
And it will belong to the Hawks. 12 seconds on the shot clock as Iowa will inbound it.
Iowa takes the 22nd timeout. Calling a timeout on that. Iowa has been sluggish in this second half. Just 2 points in 4.5 minutes of play. But it certainly looks like Ray Weathers is not going to return as he has got a patch over that entire right eye, so he may have had a scratch actually on the eyeball.
Big loss for Michigan State. He's their number 3 scorer at 9.9 a ball game. But Weathers looks like he may be done for this one.
They are calling it a corneal abrasion and out of the game, so the cornea obviously has a cut or a gash on it, and he certainly looks dejected, and I can't blame him. A fine player.
Hawkeyes still just 1 basket in the second half, and now 4.5 minutes have been played in the second half. On the other hand, Michigan State also with only 1 basket, but they've knocked in 3 free throws.
Well, Michigan State doesn't score a lot of points. I mean, you can look back through what they've done all year long, and they are just not going to put up in the 70s and 80s generally against Big Ten team. But a respite, and this is not Sean, but it is brother Mike. Gets that one to go down.
And Iowa's been outscored in the early stages of the half now by a margin of 7-2.
And Michigan State back to man-to-man after the 1 set of zone. And Iowa resorting to one-on-one play that time with Woolridge.
Woolridge goes baseline. Now Settles, who got the rebound, sees that it is touched by Ruspert, so he stays away from the ball, and it's Iowa basketball.
Back to the Michigan State offense for a moment, Matt. They've started to move better without the basketball. So that's a nice pitch to get a basket here.
See Westbrook come off a screen low on the baseline. And movement by Fike, and he has a wide body at 250. Westbrook gets a good look at the iron.
Settles the lob from Millard. In deep, he scores.
Settles, Millard reading each other well. Bethea got a head turn, did not see the play coming. And Bethea, a veteran.
Millard now with 13. The Hawkeyes lead by 23.
Mo wants to shoot it.
He will shoot it. And the rebound taken down by Woolridge. Hawks 3-on-2 break. Woolridge got it.
And Westbrook hits him right on the wrist. That was a pass from Woolridge to Woolridge almost. As the Iowa fans respond, Woolridge comes down a little hot dog and a deflection back to him. He gets it. It is good hands by Woolridge, and then the spread eagle on the floor, making some angels in the snow.
Woolridge 9 points as he collects that one.
The good catch by Millard, and then soft touch, Jamie Fike. Bethea losing track of the shot or the pass situation. Iowa runs that play very well. Very deceptive when they run it with a veteran play.
Great balance for the Hawks tonight. Settles with 14, Millard with 13, Glasper with 10. Now Woolridge tries to become the 4th Hawk in double figures. He's got 10, and Iowa leads at 56-30. So a slow start to the second half for Tom Davis's team, but now they have picked it up.
And they come with a full court pressure. That helps you get started, get you very active. And now Murray looking to reset the press. Good job by Iowa as Michigan State doesn't attack, allows Iowa to really have 2 attempts on the pressure. And Iowa says we'll go zone for a little bit, but you still shoot it from outside.
Open off the baseline. The shot won't go by Bethea.
Kalinowski in, and he doesn't see much playing time, but right now, again, Izzo trying to find any combination.
Moll picks the rebound away from McCausland and scores. Anthony Moll off the bench for 7 tonight for the Spartans. As he returns to the state where he played junior college basketball at Indian Hills Community College. 13:05 left. Iowa leads at 56-32.
Official just didn't see what was going on. He was watching inside play, and the man was laying out of bounds. Slow whistle. Tom Davis talking about, hey, you got to watch what's going on.
And J.R. Koch will inbound for the Hawkeyes. Andre Woolridge has been red hot over the last 6 ball games, averaged 18 points a game. He's really run this ball club well. A lot of coaches say he's the best point guard in the Big Ten, Mac. He's really lived up to that in the last 6 ball games.
He certainly has been the best in the last 3-4 games. And the Hawkeyes slow to recognize the zone.
Kalinowski looks to drive, and the rebound taken down by Millard. Russ Millard with 3 rebounds to go along with his 13th point. Offensive foul. Iowa basketball. The foul called against Moll.
Millard a little careless with the outlet pass here right into traffic, and then Russ stays right with it to defend, takes the charge.
Iowa ball out of the backcourt with 12:28 to play. The Hawkeyes have not won 4 in a row in the conference since the 92-93 season, but a win tonight, they will accomplish that.
Good. Michigan State doing a good job of changing up man and zone. Iowa taking a few seconds to recognize it, and then Millard and Settles react well.
58-32 Iowa.
And the steal. And another. And Izzo wants a timeout, and nobody on Michigan State can see it. Izzo is still looking, and they could have another turnover before they get the timeout.
They still don't see it. It's a 28-point Iowa lead. Brooks on the miss, Millard on the rebound. The Hawks are on fire. Millard.
And Izzo says, I want it again. And Michigan State is too tired. They take it because they can't get back.
The Hawkeyes are burying the Spartans. Iowa has opened a 30-point lead. 11:30 left to play. It's Iowa 62, Michigan State 32. It really tells you it's been all Iowa. They lead Michigan State 62-32.
Who would believe this?
Oh, really?
Who would believe this? And you watch Jess Settles, who's done an excellent job on the front of that press, able to get a deflection, and it's Bowen. Back to Settles, the double pump, reverse on the other side, and look at the reaction. Spartans don't react to the ball. They're slow to the ball. The heart has been cut out of the Spartans at this point of the game.
Oh, no question about that. Here's a team that in league play is giving up 58 points a game. Best in the league. Hawkeyes already have 62 on them. And we've still got over 11 minutes to go.
And Russ Millard, 9 of 12 in this game, 4 rebounds. Michigan State, 1 of their last 7. You look at turnovers and points off the turnovers, you know who's going to have the points. And another turnover, and this is out of here. It's a home run.
Run down by Thomas Kelly. Jim Harbaugh sitting behind the Michigan State bench. You might like the looks of that pass.
Again, Tom Izzo was concerned about his team finding a leader. He said he didn't know if he really had tough kids, and he changed it from tough kids to what he called competitive kids. He said sometimes they seem to get down. They just don't want to compete or don't come back. And in this game, you've seen it on a couple of the players' faces.
And yet, this has been a team that's played a lot of close ball games in league play. 6 of their games have been decided by 6 points or less. Chris Kingsbury, who saw limited playing time in the first half, as he returns from the suspension, now comes on with 10:42 to play. And the crowd has really been supportive of Chris. Fine on that last foul for the Spartans. That was his first. Settles on the fadeaway and fight for the rebound.
Hey, run some clock!
Good opportunity by Iowa, patient against the zone. Michigan State gives up some gaps in their zone. And Jason Klein, one of their better shooters, can't even find the rim.
Well, it's been a long night for Michigan State, including their fans.
Yep, if you look, Mr. Harbaugh there, and he is the brother-in-law of one of the assistant coaches, Tom Crean. And that's one reason he's here. And he says it's also great to be back in Iowa City. You got to remember Jack Harbaugh, his father, coached at Iowa with Frank Lauterbur. And he spent many of his young years right here in Iowa City. So it's great to see some of his old friends and neighbors.
Settles flashes to the hole. Helmers can't hang on, and the ball belongs to the Spartans.
And again, 10 minutes exactly into the second half. Iowa just 13 points. Michigan State not much better with 9.
Settles had a foot on the out-of-bounds line. He tried to steal it and put it up. But Jerry Petro said he had 1 foot out of bounds, and so Michigan State gets the basketball. Don Davis trying to close in on his 12th win, and this is 20th game against Michigan State. 9:59 to go. Iowa leads it by 30. The last 3 games in the series, buzzer beaters determined them. Not tonight, at least apparently not tonight.
This keeps up, we may use our filler material, which we didn't think we'd have to use.
Oh, we didn't. I didn't expect that at all. But Mac, I know you prepared for it anyway.
Just in case.
Woolridge with his 3rd foul. For Tom Izzo's team, a long night. This is a team that really has been very competitive in the Big Ten. We mentioned they played a lot of close games. They've really not been blown out of a Big Ten game.
Oh, they haven't, and they played well on the road. At Purdue, that was a 5-point game. And at Penn State, 4-point game. So they kept people down in the 50s with their defense.
Garvalia tries to follow his own shot. Kingsbury comes up with a loose basketball. Hawkeyes try to build on a 30-point lead, but 9.5 to go.
There it goes.
How about that?
And Chris Kingsbury. to the inside game.
Well, when you're hot, you're hot. And all the Hawkeyes are hot tonight. Jess Settles coming up with the assist.
Good pass by Settles. Strength of Kingsbury able to finish that one off as Millard and Koch check in. And Kingsbury getting the chance for the three-pointer.
First foul on Buffet as far as the team fouls, 6 against Michigan State and 4 against Iowa. Iowa only got to the free throw line 3 times in the first half because Michigan State simply did not foul. Kingsbury with the miss gets his own rebound. Well, Matt, Chris telling us this afternoon he was very pleased the Hawkeyes able to win all 3 during his suspension. He said it was tough to sit out, only made easier by the fact that his team was winning.
Again, fighting through picks, and maybe Chris being challenged a little bit by the other team. Knowing that he had the suspension, seeing if they can irritate him a little bit, get him off his rhythm. And early on, 17 fouls. So he'll be able to go to the line after the last miss.
First foul against Thomas Kelly, and Kingsbury right back to the line. Kingsbury averaging 13.3 per ball game. A good free throw shooter at 83%. He's come off the bench for 3 tonight, and the Iowa lead grows to 33 points. Michigan State giving up in Big Ten play an average of 58 points a game. Tonight, the Hawkeyes already at 65.
And 1 of 3 for Kingsbury from the line.
Very un-Kingsbury-like.
But the Iowa defense, again, reacting to the ball. Collapsing, making it difficult for Michigan State on the inside. Yeah, I do like Michigan State's uniforms. They have a nice approach across the front of it with Michigan written small and State in large letters.
It is a good new look for the Spartans. Westford off to Buffet. Now Westford for 3. His second bucket of the game. Mike Westford has 5. And it's a 30-point Iowa lead at 65-35. It's interesting, Mac. Usually 10 wins in the conference has been the magic number for reaching the NCAA tournament. Michigan State feels, and they've already got 8, they feel 10 won't be enough to get them in the tournament.
Well, they did have a couple losses, really hurt them in December. They played University of Detroit, lost that. And then Central Michigan, they lost that one. So the overall record, not very good. But I'll still look, and I think 10-8 in the Big Ten. It's not a great conference with 1 or 2 great teams, but it is very balanced. And you look around the country, what teams are better than the middle of the Big Ten? Is the middle of the ACC, middle of the Big 8 better? I don't think so. So if you get 10 wins, I still think Michigan State's going to have the opportunity to get into the tournament. It may depend on who they beat going down the stretch and who they lose to.
Russ Millard picks up his 3rd foul with 8:05 to play. And Iowa leading at 67-35. Only the 15th foul called against the Hawks.
The one that really hurt Michigan State was a loss at home against Minnesota in overtime.
It's been, as you said earlier, an up and down Spartan ball club with the foul Maul. That will be his 3rd. And Woolridge will go to the line. Andre Woolridge tonight looks like headed for a double-double. 12 points, had 8 assists at the half. I know he's got at least a couple of more. So Woolridge will go to the line. Andre the other night at Michigan hit 10 out of 11. And the Southern's coaches worried. How will the team react to a week off? Well, certainly the Hawkeyes don't look like they were in the least bit rusted by that week off.
Well, they had a couple days off that they took just to rest their legs and to study. You know, you look at this Michigan State team, Iowa fans will not see them for a couple years in this arena. Next year, they're 2 teams that they have just 1 game with. One's Michigan State and the other's Indiana.
That's led to an interesting situation at Michigan State where they're only due to play Michigan once next year. They're considering scheduling a non-conference game against the Wolverines to continue the home-and-home series. We got a timeout. It's Iowa by 32. Iowa blowing away Michigan State, leading at 67-35 in a series known for tight ball games. If this kind of a margin continues, it'll be the biggest blowout since a 29-point Iowa win in the series back in 1988 when they won here 101-72.
Tom Davis told us, he said, you don't want your team to peak too soon, but you don't want them to peak thinking about spring break.
Nope.
You don't want to be peaking and heading south and looking for Sands in Fort Lauderdale. You want to be peaking thinking NCAA.
Peak at the right time, absolutely. 7.5 to go, 67-35 Iowa. Woolridge, Glasper, Helmers, Murray, and Settles return to the floor for the Hawkeyes.
And Michigan State's shooting woes continue, one of their last 9. But Iowa certainly hasn't burned the nets in the second half, but they've been very patient. They've maintained that lead, stretched it, and gotten some easy opportunities off the pressure.
Iowa with another offensive rebound, but they fail on the quick second try, and here come the Spartans. Another turnover. Let's take a look at a Norwest quick stat. Field goal shooting the ball game. Mac, you were alerting to it a moment ago. Hawkeyes just really scorching the nets.
Well, 61% in the game, and that is just a superb game. They've been able to hit it with threes, off the pressure with the steals, and patience on the inside.
Again, bear in mind, the last 21 Michigan State opponents have not even been able to shoot 50%. On the spin, Bethea, and the foul call. Russ Millard with a reach in, and he picks up his 4th.
Number 52, that's Russ Millard. His 4th, he fouled number
16 foul called against the Hawks, so I will be in the penalty on the next one. Michigan State already whistled for 8.
The line for Michigan State.
Very consistent seating. Northern Indiana, Damon Bethea on the line. Basically averaged 5 points a game in the last 3 seasons for Michigan State. Long night for first-year head coach Tom Izzo.
Replacing number 3,
Settles will lead the lineup with 16 points and 7 rebounds. Rebound taken down by Millard. Russ Millard now with 6 rebounds to go along with his 17 points, and those 17 points tops on the Hawkeye roster.
Drop kick.
Trying to impress Jim Harbaugh. Now Steve Nicodemus, number 22, comes on for Michigan State. He's a senior from South Whitley, Indiana. And a starter, Antonio Smith, checks on for Tom Izzo's 5. Because now it's Nicodemus, Garvalia, also Mike Rushford in the lineup. Smith. And also on the floor for Michigan State right now is Quentin Brooks. And Brooks has been held to 9 points.
Glasper, the thief, got it. He's just played an outstanding floor game. And Kenyon Murray using the quickness that we've seen over the last 3 games. First step, blowing by people, and of course Glasper, Kenyon Murray from Michigan, kind of putting a smile on their faces.
Back, you talk about Iowa defense recently. The shot by Rushford bangs home. Brian Evans comes in leading the league, averaging 22.8. He gets 13 against Iowa. Gino Carlisle, second in the league in scoring, averaging 19.5. He gets 15 against Iowa. Brooks comes in averaging 15.8, third in the league. He's got 9 so far.
Iowa has done a good job of really concentrating on the leading shooter, but they've done it with team defense and recognizing what they want to get done overall with a team weakness, or what they think is the team weakness going into the game.
Pike will come in at the dead ball. Let's take a look at our creative sports updates and out-of-town scores. And, of course, the big surprise tonight at Madison, the Wildcats win one.
Holy cow. And second half, you got Ohio State ahead of Minnesota. Upset time. And this one may be a bit of an upset. Oklahoma State has really struggled this year in the Big 8. And you get two of the great defensive coaches. And Coach Floyd, you know, there's all kinds of rumors about him. Nice pass.
Woolridge on the finish. 14 for Andre.
And Michigan State, they want a timeout.
4:54 left. They are being buried by the Iowa Hawkeyes tonight. It's a 71-37 lead. This is a 22nd timeout for Tom Izzo, so we will keep it right here.
You know, you look, and we talked about Coach Floyd. There was a rumor, at least a written article in the Chicago Sun-Times. You look up Murray, a little behind the back, and a finished effort for the Hawkeyes. But Tim Floyd, maybe Mr. Krause, the Chicago Bulls, if they can't renegotiate with Mr. Jackson, he said he'd love to interview Tim Floyd for that job. A bit of a surprise.
Apparently they go back and have some kind of a background, and Jerry Krause, a great admirer of Tim Floyd's. Got any other hot rumors for us, as long as we're on the rumor subject?
I'll tell you, there's a rumor up in Minnesota. Sam Jacobson may be a little displeased up there, playing time, and squad looking to transfer to Kansas, his second choice, although his father said, no way, he's staying here at Minnesota. So we'll see how that goes. LSU, they may be without a coach. Dale Brown having some real troubles in recruiting. He's already lost Randy Livingston, a guard. And one of the names popping up there, again, the home state, Tim Floyd. So.
Boy, Mac McCausland with all the dirt.
Oh, we got it.
Where do you get this stuff? You dig, don't you?
Get out the spade. Of course, there's been trouble in Nebraska, Michigan. Interesting auto accident up there. And that is Mateen Cleaves, the recruit that was on that particular scene. And he is running strongly considering Michigan State, and is an excellent point guard and quarterback, and you can see the need for the point guard at Michigan State.
Russ Millard with a precautionary ice on the knees, meaning that he is done for the night with 17 points. Less than 5 to go. It has been all Iowa tonight, as Rusper knocks home his third bucket, make it his fourth bucket. He now has 9 points, and that's a career high for Mike Rusper. This ball game was really decided early. It was a 1-point Michigan State lead. Then Iowa hit 4 3-pointers in a row. A 14-point run on that occasion, and Mac really, for all intents and purposes, the game was decided right there.
Well, they got the threes going in that first half. That was the one spot that Michigan State questioned. Can they shoot threes? And they got it from 4 different players. The run started. That opened up the pressure game, opened up the inside game, and Michigan State had no answers.
Tough night for John Garvalia. He's been putting them up, but that's the first one that dropped for him. And it's a 71-41 Iowa lead. .333 to go, and then the Hawkeyes will have their 4th consecutive Big Ten with Kingsbury for 3. Garvalia trying to fingertip control the rebound.
It's one of those that may be called a travel in an ordinary tight game, sliding along the floor, but 30 points, the officials say, we got a point to catch.
Penetration by Fike, and the foul called on him. And for Jamie Fike, his 3rd foul. We got a timeout. 3 minutes, 12 seconds left in this one, and the Hawkeyes will have their 19th win in the books. Iowa leading Michigan State 71-41. We'll be back with more after these messages from your local station. Series known for its tight ball games. A lopsided Iowa lead tonight of 72-41. Let's take a look at our 4th player of the game. Point guard Andre Woolridge just continues to play better and better basketball, and Woolridge gets the honor tonight. Andre Woolridge, 4th player of the game, and he's just been marvelous over the last 7 ball games.
I tell you, you can look at Russ Millard. He would be one. You can look at Montere Glasper. He played well, but it is Andre Woolridge. And Andre, of course, from Omaha, and another player, Eric Strickland, also from Omaha. They played against each other all the time in high school and played with each other in summer AAU games. And from Omaha, you look and you say, boy, Strickland going to Nebraska and Woolridge did before transferring, great talent. But you even go back a few years, they had another duo, Ronnie Kellogg and Kerry Trotter. People may remember Kellogg going to Kansas, one of their all-time scorers. Trotter going to Marquette, one of their all-time leading scorers. So great basketball tradition in Omaha. It's not a town that you think of with that kind of tradition, as you see. Andre Woolridge, the player of the game.
14 points for Andre Woolridge as he's our fourth player of the game. Also double figures in assists, so a double-double for Andre tonight as the Hawkeyes have a lopsided lead over Michigan State. Respert for three. He's having his best ball game as a Spartan. He's got a dozen points.
And he has played well. Respert getting some open looks. And Tom Izzo, knowing the game is over, now trying to coach really for the next game or later on this season and getting some things done. He did indicate to us Iowa is hard to prepare for.
We look down the road for the Iowa Hawkeyes, a Saturday game at Illinois, and then they're home a week from tonight to take on Wisconsin. After tonight, just 5 games left. The other games are home with Purdue and at Ohio State and at Minnesota. So the Hawkeyes, an opportunity to finish extremely strong in this second half of the year. They've now won 4 in a row.
Well, you know they were picked by a lot of people or magazines or writers or whoever to finish first in the Big Ten. But the reality of it is what you generally see is a separation, a top 2 or 3, then a middle group, and then a lower. And it looks like Iowa has an opportunity to finish in what you call the top tier of the Big Ten. Finish strong and looking to get a seed. And that possibly could be a 4 seed or a 5 seed in the NCAA. But they have to keep the same intensity as they've got now. And you see the standings there prior to this game. Iowa would look and move up to 8-5. It does have the Northwestern game included with their second victory.
Purdue trying to become the first team with 3 straight uncontested Big Ten titles since the Buckeyes did it back in 1960, 61, and 62, and they're well on their way. They have a nice lead as we go down the stretch.
Yeah, they're going to do it. I don't think there's any question they will win the conference. It would even be a real stumble for them to get a share of the conference at this particular point. They almost had to lose last night for anybody to have a chance to tie it.
Jason Bauer, number 15. Scott Rabinold, number 25, into the Iowa lineup. Kent McCausland, J.R. Koch, and number 45, Daryl Moore out of Chicago round out the Iowa 5. But Tom Davis gives the Gray Teamers who've dressed an opportunity to see action in the final 250. As the Hawkeyes so often do when they're successful, Mac, they do it tonight with great balance.
It's been a long time since some of these players have had a chance to get into a game. And now the opportunity to play in a Big Ten game with just 2:30 left to go.
Hawks with 11 seconds to shoot, but Quentin Brooks on the foul. So the Hawkeyes are going to continue the trend, it looks like, that we talked about earlier, of holding the Big Ten's top 3 scores significantly below their average. They did it to Evans, they did it to Carlisle, now they're doing it to Brooks.
Well, we kind of thought before this game started the first team maybe to 60 points would win. Well, that's the way it looks because Michigan State's not going to get to 60 points.
That might, Mac, they're not even going to get, it looks like they may not even get to 50 points, but I know that somebody's going to get to 50 years this weekend, and we'd like to wish you a very happy birthday.
Oh, yeah. Half a century. Yikes.
Who would have thought it? Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Jason Bauer out of Hudson, Iowa, knocks home the free throw. It's Iowa by 30.
And 30-point lead against Michigan State. When you've seen the series as close as it's been and as intense as it's been, physical, usually the physical play doesn't allow somebody to be able to run as well as Iowa has or shoot as well as Iowa has.
Moore on the miss. Koch misses on the tip try, but saves it. Bauer for 3. 5 points for Jason Bauer, and it's a 32-point Iowa lead. And Michigan State will use a timeout with 1:43 to play. So we have a timeout, 1:43 left as the Hawkeyes celebrate their 4th consecutive victory. We'll be back with more after these messages from your local station. Back a quick look at this Iowa-Michigan State series. This would appear to be the biggest blowout in this series since 1965 when Iowa won it 111-68. They won it by 43. Tonight, the Hawkeyes lead it by 33 with 1:43 to play. Would you have ever imagined this?
No, and I'll tell you, the Iowa team, you've really got to look and say how they have hoisted themselves up over the last 3 weeks and really have become a defensive team, and maybe the best defensive team Tom Davis has had since his first couple years here. They just are hard to get to the basket on, and they are dominating on the rebounds.
Polanowski goes up and puts it in, his first 2 tonight.
I mean, when you look at Indiana at 50 points, Michigan State at 55, and now Michigan State, as you said, may not even get to 50.
But as I said, you will on Sunday. This will be the most lopsided loss for the Spartans this year. They had a 22-point loss to North Carolina, 22-point loss to Michigan. But tonight the margin is 31 with 1:04 to play. Mac McCausland to the line. He's got 5 points tonight. Career high 9 back in December against Texas Southern.
The soft touch and the roll.
And now on his Iowa career, McCausland just doing a great job at the free throw line as he is connected on 13 of 14. Again, Michigan State came in with glittering defensive statistics, giving up 57.9 a game in conference play. Teams shooting only 40% against them, but tonight, Iowa has put it away.
Nice pass. Interior with Delmore with the finish.
Michigan State hasn't given up this many points since the 2nd game of the year when North Carolina hammered them 92-70.
And Scott Rabinold, who made the nice pass, now is going to have the opportunity to go to the free throw line, get a couple points, and Steve Polanowski just pushed him out of the way. Coach Izzo says, I just don't need that. He's calling him over and said, now, Steve, there's a couple things you've got to understand. Oh, wait a second, I'm not done. Go and talk 1 more minute.
Pressure's on Rabinold, the other 2 great teamers who scored.
Okay, this score will raise some eyebrows around the Big Ten.
Yeah,
because everybody figured this would be one down to the last couple minutes, and Iowa continues to march up the standings ladder. Opportunity now behind Indiana. And they say, Scott, you didn't stand there long enough.
It's his first foul.
And he said, I can't take rooks.
So Iowa will go to 19-6 overall. They will move into a tie for 3rd with Indiana at 8-5. Only Purdue at 12-2 and Penn State at 9-4 will be ahead of them in the league standings. And again, tonight Iowa doing it on both ends of the floor. Outstanding offense, but also superb defense, holding Michigan State below 50. Hawkeyes virtually dominating every category. Moore on the turnaround, and he will go to the free throw line. David Hart with the foul. Also Daryl Moore, a junior from Chicago's DuSable High School, a high school with a great basketball tradition, will go to the free throw line.
2 shots, relax.
Again, Tom Davis chooses his great teamers on who practices hard, who gives the varsity the most opposition during practice, and these guys really earn their minutes.
Well, just in case Judd Heathcote is listening out there, he may have turned off the set by now.
Probably.
But certainly want to wish him well in his retirement. He came back to Michigan State to see one game. He kidded Tom Izzo. He says, hey, I had to look at your schedule, see if there's a game you could win. I want to come back and watch. I didn't know if I could find any.
I think he still does those Judd thuds at home when he watches the games on TV.
He practices for the over 60 league.
A big win for the Iowa Hawkeyes tonight. Is Garbalia trying to finish? And he will go to the free throw line with just 6.3 seconds left. Ravenhold on his second foul. So the Hawkeyes of Tom Davis move into a tie for third place. And I was really on a roll heading to Illinois on Saturday because the Hawkeyes have a 4-game winning streak and their 19th win of the year tonight.
Tom Davis is smiling his face. Tom Izzo, no smile there.
Three straight buzzer beaters in this series, but not that way tonight. The Hawkeyes a barrage of three-point goals early, and they have blown out Michigan State. It's over, and Iowa wins it. A lopsided score, the most lopsided score in this series since 1965. Iowa wins it 83-47. For Mac McCausland, this is Larry Morgan, wishing you a very pleasant good night.